What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Podium One Racing YouTube channel. Today we have a few updates on some builds that we are currently working on, mainly Tom Segura's build. We also got Logan Misaka's build and a ton of cool builds going on in the back of the shop that we are going to get into, including a Porsche RSR crazy rig. What you just saw was Tom's rig all polished up, but we did film along the building process and showing you guys a little behind the scenes of that. We're gonna cut that in now because we're gonna show you us building it before it's complete. Everyone knows Tom Segura as a comedian and podcaster, but what some of you guys may not know is that he is super into cars, planes, helicopters, and more. Now, I've been watching Tom Segura for years, and I know some information about him that you guys may not. Tom Segura actually was gifted a race car by Burt Kreischer, so he has a full race car setup that he tracks. He also is a fan of Porsches. He's had BMW M2s. He has a list of cars that he doesn't necessarily openly share, but if you listen to enough of his stuff, you can learn little details and know that he's a huge car enthusiast, and this rig right here is going to be the perfect setup for him. So sitting behind me in its current form is 30 hours of custom fabrication, chassis building, custom powder coating, and so much more of what will be Tom Segura's P1 Ultimate Sim Rig. So now I want to bring in Chandler, who's one of the owners of Podium One, to give you guys a little bit more detail on the rig in its current form. We're taking you guys along the process of us building it, and then obviously we're going to go into crazy detail at the end when we have it in its final form. Let's bring Chandler in.
So here at Podium One, we sell a variety of sims starting from 13K up to 60K plus and everything in between. For Tom, we've got the biggest, the baddest, the P1 Ultimate, which has triple 55 Samsung ARCs. They're 4K, they're curved monitors, they're amazing. Now, what most people might think for frame of reference and size of a simulator is something like this. You got the single 49-inch, ultra wide. It's a good footprint, small, right? This system is 10 foot wide by 6 foot deep, and you can actually see that here. This is a P1 Ultimate. This is kind of our house sim. We test a lot of new software and test new peripherals. Tom's is going to be almost identical, but with a lot of extra custom goodies, like the paint. This is like a midnight blue matte. Let me pull out my phone here, and you can see kind of the flake in here. Incredible. So what's funny is it looks from far, it looks like black, but once you guys see the custom seat that we've got coming, we're getting a custom upholstered Recaro. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I guess we'll save maybe that for the end. You guys can drop in the comments what color you think it is based on the color of the chassis. I would say it is a very classy car enthusiast spec, if you will. We asked Tom the reason that he chose it, and he just said he loves the color combo. So I can't wait to show you guys that. But before we get these giant 55-inch arcs on, I wanted to show you guys a little behind the scenes of what goes into something like this. You know, to power 3 giant 4K monitors that are curved, you've got external power boxes, in a lot of cases special converters so they can run at the highest refresh rate. All of that has to be carefully thought out when it's in this stage so that when we get it all plugged in, everything works seamlessly. So I've shown you guys the stand. I want to touch on the chassis. This thing weighs about 250 pounds. It is aluminum, but there's a lot of steel in there. There's a lot of peripherals. This wheelbase alone is 40 pounds, believe it or not. And we'll get into more of the specs in this and why it weighs so much and why it's so beefy. Something else, a lot of people, they'll see something like this and they think of a motion system with these giant actuators. And we'll drop a video here of some that have gone viral. We've seen some with 30, 40 million views with these crazy actuators. Everything that we do here at Podium One, we want to be as real as possible. So the motion system that we use, and we'll get into the specs, is it mimics everything you'd feel on the road just as if you were on a race car. So it's sitting on these beefy actuators and the whole chassis moves and vibrates, etc. So this is a racing simulator at its core. However, with the P1 Ultimate and some of our other sims, we have the ability to do the flight package. Now, a lot of people that are into sims might know this is the Thrustmaster HOTAS setup. And we do that because to get into some of the higher end controls, we actually get into ergonomic constraints. So with this HOTAS setup, we're able to have your full racing position and all the ergonomics of a race car without any compromise with the added flight stuff. So for us, it's finding a good combo unit to have another use case for your sim. Originally, when Tom reached out, he wanted just a helicopter sim, which we can do, you know, one-to-one, say Robinson R22, R44, MD500, Airbus, etc. However, I think he's more into the racing stuff. He just wanted the ability to fly, and that's why we chose to go with this setup here.
So how this came to life with Tom is that he saw one of our reels that went viral on Instagram, and he ended up reaching out saying he wanted to get more information on one of them, and we were able to talk with his team and get in touch and make it happen. So now we're putting this together for him. We're gonna be delivering it to him and filming all sorts of content around it with him. So I'm super excited for that. And you guys can look forward to that coming soon.
All right guys, so we just got the monitors installed, and just check out how much curve these things have on it. It's 1000 RR for those of you know monitors. Most curved monitors you get 32, 34-inch gaming monitor, they're 1500 RR. These are 1000 R, incredible curvature. I mean, look, you've got essentially a full half circle. Here, come around here. Check out this shot here. So we've got them mostly aligned. We've got to pull the screen film off and all this film around the bezels and dial them in. We've got these adjustable brackets so we can adjust the toe and the pitch and the angle of all the monitors, which is super important to get these things as crisp as possible. So what we have left right now is the wind kit, which you guys will see more on that later. We've got to finish up the wiring, do the wiring loom, get the PC on here. And then from there, it's firing it up. And there's a lot on the back end to configure in the software. So you're talking iRacing, Asetek Forte Competizione, Microsoft Flight, and more. And then all of the software that goes into the peripherals. So for the wheelbase, the wheel, the pedals, the wind kit, the motion, all of that's got to be calibrated to a T. All the buttons have to be bound. So there's a lot of work on the tail end, but we'll boot it up and we'll show you guys what's going on once we get this thing turned on. What's cool about these monitors, they don't actually get used in the sim racing world, but they're made to be a desktop gaming monitor, so you can actually turn them vertically. Let me just show you real quick because it's pretty cool. If I do this. Now again, you will never use this in a sim racing environment once they're dialed in, but if say you had it on a desk and it was pitched up, this screen will automatically cut into thirds, so you could have YouTube, Twitch, and then an Excel spreadsheet or what email or whatever. So again, really intuitive, awesome monitor. What's left? We've got the wind kit, which you'll see that, guys, later on. We've got the wiring harness and wiring. We've got the power unit. We've got the PC. So we've probably got, it's funny, when you get to this stage, it looks done and you think that it's like, oh, 30 more minutes we'll be done. We've probably got a good 5 to 10 hours left in just wiring, wind kit, just kind of buttoning everything up. And then from there, it's all the software. So configuring all the peripherals, calibrating the motion system, getting the FOV, right, the field of view, meaning that when you're sitting in the driver's seat, everything looks as it would in real life. That's a lot of the back end stuff is what people don't realize is the technical difficulties in sim racing. It's just getting the software to talk to each other seamlessly. So every time that Tom powers this thing on, it's going to work perfectly.
So let's go over some of the details. Let's jump straight into it with Tom Segura's rig. Now, you guys saw, if you did, the Joe Rogan video, we did his whole rig, which is very, very similar to Tom Segura's rig, but there's a couple different details we want to go over, talk to you guys about the build. What Joe got was a P1 Ultimate. That is exactly what this is, with some extra little goods and features that we want to talk about. Mainly is the color of the powder coating of the whole rig. Now, we did this one in a kind of blue flake metallic, as you can see there. The color was requested by Tom, and to me, when I see this color, it reminds me of the Porsche kind of mag wheel blue that they have in the GT4 RS on some of the models. So that to me is really cool. So that's one of the features that is standing out of it, as well as if you guys didn't see the whole build with Joe's, we go to a lot more detail on this rig specifically, but we'll talk about some of the things maybe we missed on that one. But if you want full details, go to that last video. Some of the things on here, we've got a couple wheels that are gonna be going out, but specifically we've got this GSI wheel on right now. But one of the things we didn't touch on too much on the last rig, because this one has flight control. Pedals aren't connected now, but we have this BD8 shifter here, which is super realistic, super tactile. It's got gears and links inside, so when you're shifting it, it really feels insane. We've got the e-brake here, which could be used for all types of stuff like drifting. We've got the flight controls on each side. This is also painted to match as well. And then we've got full D-box, so this is gonna be full motion on the entire rig. There's a couple LEDs, it's not on right now. And then we are working on a custom seat for Tom. It's gonna be an Alcantara, and it is going to be, maybe we'll say, I don't know if we wanna save the color, it's somewhat of like a peanut butter brown. So that's gonna be super cool. Majority of his rig, you guys, if you didn't see when we talked about before, these are gonna be Samsung Odyssey Arcs, 55-inch curved monitors. When you're sitting inside, it is super immersive and a part of that experience. That's what the P1 Ultimate that we have here, that is the difference that it comes with. One of the main things is the screens. And when we talk about Logan Misaka's rig, you'll see some of the difference because that's a P1 rig as well. So if you guys don't know, Logan Misaka is a NASCAR driver. And so this rig here was built with the intention of functionality similar to a NASCAR. This is an FIA actual Recaro race car seat. It's got the halo on top, very similar to the NASCAR. And this rig here also has the round wheel, which is gonna be for the NASCAR as well. So this has got full motion, everything as well. The difference with this is the 48-inch LG Ultra Gear monitors rather than those Samsung Odyssey R Crazy. Still an awesome and immersive feeling. And then this one is painted as well. This one is painted in a custom white paint. It is a Lamborghini paint code white. We don't have the exact name off the top of our heads, but that is the color right there. And this one is gonna be similar. It's a P1, but it is just NASCAR focused. So you're still getting the crazy built PC, you're getting the speakers, the full motion. This one does not have flight control or anything because it is focused on NASCAR. We're gonna be having Logan come here and do some testing on it, help us get it like perfectly dialed in so it's just as close to as an actual race car and NASCAR as possible. So that should be fun and some content for you guys to look out for soon. So those are the two main builds of people that you guys would really know right now that we're working on. With Tom, we are gonna be delivering that soon. He's gonna be potentially coming here. We're gonna be doing a lot of content with Tom coming up, which will be a lot of fun. But now we're gonna head to the back. I'm gonna have Chandler throw on the mic and talk about some of the things we have going on back here, like the Porsche build we have going on, and we'll let Chandler, one of the owners of Podium One, get into it.
What's up, guys? So back here in our production area, which again, you probably saw in the Joe Rogan video, but we go a little bit deeper on some of the rigs that we're working on. All customer rigs, every rig that you see essentially behind our TV wall, which is where we were in that showroom, are all customer units. But two that I want to focus on, and really we can dial in on one, are these matching Miami Blue P1 RS builds. So we sell a ton of racing simulators to people in the Porsche group. So people with the GT3 RS that just do their track days, or people that have full-on cup cars or race teams. And they use these as real driver training tools to learn tracks, pick up different things that they need to, whether it's feeling the rear slip on their Porsche, because people that go, say, from a Ferrari to a Porsche don't know that, you're not supposed to lift like you would in a Ferrari because of the rear engine. So a lot of that stuff you can actually pick up on a simulator through the D-Box, the haptics. But this rig is really cool because it has almost entirely officially licensed Porsche peripherals. So we'll start right here. This is the RSR replica wheel. It is nearly one-to-one replica of the real RSR. So you get the carbon fiber, the Porsche crest, you've got all the buttons and switches, 4 different traction control switches, just like you would on the real RSR. And of course, in iRacing, that's all translated. We have the 992 Porsche display from Grid, again, officially licensed Porsche product. So you've got your eyebrows for traction slip, you got your flag, so say it's yellow caution flag, you'll see that displayed on these LEDs here. And then there's a bunch of digital dashes you can cycle through. We'll do probably another video that's in depth of all the features so you can see what's going on, but by twisting this knob right here, I can cycle through virtually endless dash displays. So whether you want to see the track map, your telemetry, your lap time, all that stuff you can see on the display. Of course, you have the same settings on this display as well. And then you have the one-to-one replica RSR button box. Now this is really cool because when you start to have hardware, you start to get really more immersive. You start to get really more immersed into the car. So you have your ignition and starter. Now we have to go through and label these. They come with the stickers here. So all this stuff will be one-to-one to the RSR race car, which is really cool. So you get your caution, you can get your pit speed limiter, all that stuff dialed in there. And again, you're actually starting to use your hands, whereas a lot of the wheels that we use in sim racing, you have extra buttons on the wheels to do this stuff. But again, if you can start to, if you own an RSR or a Porsche Cup car and you actually physically touch the switches, it's really cool to be able to do that on sim. Another cool thing about this rig is that typically the P1 RS from us, if you order it stock on our website, would come with 45-inch curves. So I'll have you show over here, Harrison, real quick. The LG Ultra Gear 45-inch, these are 1440p monitors. They don't make them in 4K, but you won't really notice that, the resolution's so high. However, these two customers, completely independent from each other, both wanted Miami Blue, and they both wanted the 55-inch Samsung Arcs, just more immersion. Some would debate that the FOV is too big, but I think it's perfect. The dimensions from a real-life dashboard to the digital one in sim racing and iRacing, I feel like is almost one-to-one accuracy, which to me, in a Porsche, and especially hitting the apex, and you know this if you track in real life, you can feel the car rotate actually visually. When you hit the apex right and you're losing a little bit of grip, but you're still on that racing line, you can actually feel that with these monitors, which is we should do a whole separate video on that, which you can't really get from smaller monitors. So that's personally why I like the big monitors, is just be able to feel the car rotate properly when you hit that apex. Another thing on the P1 RS is the Pepita. So this is paying homage to the Porsche Houndstooth, which is you'll find in a lot of 70s, 80s, even early 90s Porsche, usually air-cooled, like the 993 Turbo. You get the Houndstooth racing seats. And so for us, the Pepita is very similar to Houndstooth, and for us, it's just a perfect, again, paying homage to kind of that old school Porsche racing enthusiast vibe. So the P1 RS typically doesn't include an e-brake or shifter. No modern Porsche race car has 3 pedals or an e-brake. This customer, however, wanted to option on an e-brake, and they're gonna be getting the BDH bazooka shifter that Harrison talked over on some of the rigs up there. So again, normally, I think this one, this is how it would come if you order the P1 RS. So for us, again, these are for the Porsche enthusiasts that have that PDK or sequential straight cut gears if they're in a race car, and they'll be able to mimic that one-to-one in the sim. So we'll move on from Miami Blue. We offer a variety of colors with the P1 RS. So stock, you have racing yellow, lizard green, guards red, and we have for an upcharge PTS, meaning paint to sample, just like you would on a Porsche car, is you can spec any color you want. So this customer wanted Gulf Blue. It's what he has on his Porsche. I don't know if he has a GT3 RS, but he has a PTS Porsche, a GT3 Touring or something like that, and he'll be able to have a matching rig to his real car. And then another one you can see over here, we've got another Miami Blue, and we've got a Guards Red. All the P1 RS builds are on SimLab chassis, so you can see they're kind of half flat face, missing the 2 channels here. I feel like they're super sexy and sleek, and again, one of probably my favorite builds personally. The last thing I'll note on the P1 RS is they all come with active pedal. So this is on a screw drive, fully electronic and adjustable. So if someone has a specific brake feel in whether it's a GT3 RS or a Cup car or a GT4 or whatever, they'll be able to mimic that with the adjustments in software with this pedal, which is pretty cool. That about wraps it up. Just wanted to show you guys a little behind the scenes, and again, especially since we had so many P1 RS, we have a lot of Porsche enthusiasts following us. So I figure I'm a big Porsche enthusiast, something I would want to see, we want to show you guys as well. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.